Hello and welcome. I'm Terry Morris from Impulse Hub, a website design development and digital marketing agency. So we're talking to Siobhan Kehoe, who is the clinical director of the Fertility Treatment Clinic. We're located in the new Sonus Health and Wellness Center. So big welcome to everybody who has joined us today. Siobhan is going to talk about Siobhan's going to talk about AMH today and its implications for IVF and natural fertility. If you have questions, please put them in the comments and we'll do our best to get them answered. So for those who don't know Siobhan, she is a registered midwife, a registered general nurse. She has worked in Ireland, England, and Australia. And before setting up her own practice, she worked at a Dublin fertility clinic and also at an antenatal clinic and early pregnancy unit in a Dublin hospital. She's a qualified herbalist and a registered practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. She also studied and practiced in 3 hospitals in China, where she obtained a licencia in acupuncture. She has a certificate in Acupuncture Fertility Network and a diploma in obstetrics and gynae, where she got a distinction earlier last year. She has been using the best of Western and Eastern medicine to help couples with fertility problems since 2001. So Siobhan gets a lot of questions about treating fertility, and one of those is about AMH and its implications for IVF and natural conception. So Siobhan, can you start by telling us a little bit about the types of patients that come to you, maybe their age, the problems that you're seeing that they've had, and some of the concerns that they have as well?
Hi Terry, thanks Terry for the introduction. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I see a lot of all different types of fertility problems. I see a lot of couples actually with so-called unexplained infertility. In Western medicine, 30% of all couples have unexplained infertility. I don't believe in it. I've never seen it. There's always a reason. And my aim is to get to the cause and treat that cause. I see couples with endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, male problems, morphology, motility, count. More recently, I'm seeing a lot of women with what they think they have low AMH, and they think it's caused by ovarian egg reserve. And I'm seeing women typically around the age of 37, 38 that come in quite stressed, saying they were told their egg reserve is very low, and that they might need to go straight into IVF, or that they might need a donor egg, and or women with a high FSH that's been told she has premature ovarian failure. And this is just a concern for me, and because with AMH, with the treatment, with the herbs and the acupuncture and a healthy diet, I have without exception seen AMH levels rise every single time. So that's one of the reasons I'm here today, to talk about that, and because I've had a few questions asking would I discuss this in more detail. So that's one of the reasons.
Did you want to talk about the AMH a little bit more,
right,
maybe in terms of fertility?
AMH, what AMH means, some people mightn't have heard of it. It stands for anti-Mullerian hormone. It's produced by the granulosa cells in the primary follicles in the ovary. The follicle typically ruptures at around 20 millimeters, so it ruptures and releases the egg at around 20 millimeters. AMH is measured in the primary follicles between 1 and 8 millimeters, usually between 1 and 4 millimeters. So it does show what's in the pipeline. So if they're going for IVF, it does give an indication what's in the pipeline. However, it doesn't show anything to do with the quality of the egg, and in my mind, quality is the most important aspect, absolutely. And also the most accurate way to measure follicles, it's important for couples out there to know this, is a transvaginal scan. Also, there is no way of measuring the follicles 0 to 1 millimeter, and they're called their primordial follicles, and there is no way of measuring that. That, however, is the most accurate way of measuring follicles. So it does give an indication what's in the pipeline. And women often that have a low AMH are under the impression they need to go straight into IVF, whereas a lot of people don't realise it takes 150 days for the follicles to develop in the ovaries. But the latest research has shown it takes 13 months for the follicles to develop in the ovaries. So the AMH is just giving a little bit of an indication of how many follicles are developing at that time. But that can be changed and that level can be increased, and I've seen this over and over again. I actually brought results with me today. I might show them later on during this Facebook Live of results. Every single case I've seen has gone up, or at least I think there's one case stayed the same. Every other case has risen, usually quite dramatically.
So Siobhan, you were saying that what do they do with the is it the AMH with IVF? Do they stimulate it or something like that? What do they do?
Well,
and how does that sit with the Chinese medicine?
Right. In Chinese medicine, they link low AMH, which in Western medicine they'd call it a low egg reserve. In Chinese medicine, they basically see it as if something like a low AMH means that the follicles aren't being developed sufficiently. Why is that? And it's usually linked with a blood deficiency. So the woman might have light scanty periods or blood stagnation, maybe endometriosis, and that the nutrients in the blood isn't getting to the follicles for them to develop.
So it's important to get the nourishment.
It's important to get the nourishment. Actually, on that note, Terry, I often see women as well with a high FSH that are told that they might need to go straight into IVF. High FSH basically means follicle stimulating hormone. So women with a high FSH, maybe if you listen to the next sentence, in Chinese medicine, FSH is recognized at how hard the ovaries have to work to produce follicles. So if someone has a high FSH, you should nourish the ovaries so that the follicles can be developed in a better environment. Our eggs respond to our environment the same as every part of our body responds to our environment. So eggs will respond more negatively to poor diet, to toxins, to stress. So to lower an FSH, we need to give more nourishment. In Chinese medicine, it's either a blood and yin deficiency, whereas the woman is blood deficiency and the yin is the body fluid. So she's blood deficiency and she's body fluid deficiency. So she might get night sweats, vaginal dryness, overheating, typical signs that she might be slightly going into the menopause. Or it's a blood and qi deficiency. This woman might be tired, blood deficient. So in Western medicine, these women might go to IVF and they might be stimulated, whereas, with the drugs. And typically going into IVF with low AMH and or high FSH, this will be a poor outcome, because with high FSH, you should nourish the ovary, not stimulate the ovary. And again, this is very, very successful. There are many women I've treated with high FSH levels that their levels have lowered to natural level, that were told they would need a donor egg, and many women have conceived naturally using herbs and acupuncture.
Okay. And so did I hear you say before that the IVF actually stresses it a bit more, like when you want to focus on nourishing with the AMH?
Yeah, nourishing. So it's a healthy diet. It's the herbs would be the main thing. Herbs, acupuncture, and certainly a healthy diet will help as well, and you want to nourish. So I've seen women with levels as low as 0.6, 0.3, and that women with these levels can get pregnant naturally. But we need to pay attention to think about the environment these follicles are being developed in. It's like, for me, with the dry woman, it's like planting something in the desert, and if the body is dry and blood deficient, the seed won't grow. Same with the human body. If that seed is in the ovary, if you want to nourish it, give it more body fluids, more moisture, more nutrients in the blood, that seed can develop more in a well nourished environment, and then the AMH will rise and the FSH will lower.
There we go. Okay. Okay. I see a couple of questions coming in. Did you want to talk about the FSH? Or do you want to take a question? Or you can take a question if you want.
I can take a question there.
So one from Ruth McKenna is, what are our thoughts regarding a woman in her mid-40s with pretty good FSH, LH, Treldiol, I'm not sure, levels on day 3, but with AMH of 0.7. Should she focus on improving egg quality for those 120 days or 13 months and try naturally? Chances of IVF success at that age are around 5%.
Again, it comes back to the same point that I was saying, you know, that the AMH, I would ask questions like, you know, do you have a healthy period? Is it bright red blood? Are there any night sweats? Are there any clots in the period? So if there's any clots, we need to get rid of the clots. So then, you know, the blood will be more nutrient enriched, more oxygenated blood getting to the eggs. And the 3 months, even though yes, it takes 150 days, some research showing it takes 13 months. The 3 months before conception, research would show is the crucial time for that egg development. And so yes, the chances of IVF of successful, well, at the age of 43, typically it's 3% successful with IVF. So to give it the best chance, you know, we need to give the eggs the best chance. Also with women, especially the woman that might be a little bit older in her 40s, it's very important to focus on the sperm quality. If the sperm is only average, you know, it mightn't be enough to form the embryo. It's important for couples out there to realise the woman is 50% of the embryo, the man is 50% of the embryo. So if the woman's side of things is low AMH, high FSH, scanty periods, you know, showing signs that she's more depleted, if the sperm is only average, that mightn't be enough to form the embryo. That's why I really encourage the couples that I see, both of them, that it's very easy to boost sperm count and sperm quality, and then it'll give the couple a better chance of conceiving, whether it's natural or with IVF.
Okay.
I hope that answers that.
Does that answer your question, Ruth? If you can maybe just let us know if that answered your question there. Okay, and Carol says, anything that can be done, is there anything that can be done with somebody with low progesterone that is finding it difficult to maintain a pregnancy? Yes,
yes, of course, there are certain herbs to boost progesterone levels. In Western medicine, it's often given an indication that it's just low progesterone to maintain the pregnancy. There are many reasons to maintain a pregnancy, and actually in the last 2.5 to 3 years, just 7 couples I've met that have had between 4 and 6 miscarriages. 3 of them, very unfortunate for them, had 6 miscarriages. Again, I treated both the male and the female, and none of them ever went on to have another miscarriage. Progesterone is one aspect. There's much more than progesterone. Actually, maybe it's something I need to discuss at another time in more detail about recurrent miscarriages. There's 5 basic reasons, but maybe I shouldn't go away from that point now. But it's very, very successful for preventing miscarriage. Progesterone is only one aspect, but there certainly are herbs for boosting progesterone. And also, you know, if I met a pregnant woman that was spotting or cramping or anything, there's certainly herbs that can be used even at that stage to help prevent miscarriage. The main way to prevent miscarriage from my point of view, Chinese medicine point of view, is preconceptual, getting everything as healthy as they can from the start and getting their levels, their progesterone levels, their period, you know, getting everything really good and healthy from the start.
Okay. I just see, so we have another comment from Ruth. She's saying, yes, that helps. In your experience of working with women in their 40s, are they better trying naturally with TCM support rather than using IVF? The success rates are so low.
Yes, the success rates with TCM, it's probably similar when you're in your 40s, but I believe it helps to improve the quality of the egg and the sperm. I can never tell a couple not to go for IVF. It's their own personal choice. But if they're going for IVF, it is best in my mind to do the herbs and the supplements before going into the IVF to give it the best chance.
Yeah, so just to mention, Siobhan treats people who decide to go with IVF or decide not to, one way or the other. And also just to mention, because I've been working with Siobhan for a while, is that she has some amazing success stories, really amazing, of the number of people, and you can read it on her website, of the number of people who have had failed IVFs or multiple miscarriages or whatever, and they have come in, and because Siobhan is looking at treating the whole person and looking at both partners, it really does increase their chances of success. She has a huge number of success stories.
Thanks, Terry. Yeah, no, people are very good to share their stories. Just in recent years, I decided to ask people if they were happy to write testimonials. Obviously, not everyone writes their testimonial at all, but in recent years, there are well over 100 testimonials from couples that are very happy to share their story. A lot of them give their name, and actually only in the last month there are a couple of people that have done voice testimonials. One of them actually is with the low AMH, that was told she had premature ovarian failure, and her husband was told his morphology was only 0 to 1%, and they share their story. So this is something I'm planning moving forward. If couples are happy to share this, there's another lady actually next week going to write her story on low AMH and how she went on to have 2 healthy kids. So it's just to give people hope out there that it's not all about a certain figure. Of course, as a midwife myself, I very much look at figures and test results and diagnostic procedures and often recommend them. But there's much more to it. It's, as I say, it's the environment the eggs are growing in, not just this AMH level or progesterone level. It's the bigger picture of triggering the body to heal itself. And it's important for couples to remember nature is on your side. Nature wants you to get pregnant and have a baby and carry that baby to term. And so my aim is always, as I say to people, to help carry a healthy baby to term, not now you're pregnant, and to carry a healthy baby to term.
And I think it's also really important to note Siobhan's medical background, because she is a registered midwife. She is a registered general nurse as well. If she believes that she needs more information, she does order all those standard tests. She understands those standard tests, and she's able to really combine the best of Eastern and Western medicine. Okay, is there other questions out there? This is the first Facebook Live that she's done, and it was really just to give people an opportunity to ask questions of her directly, because she does get lots of questions and she's not able to field all those questions always. So if you have questions, any more questions, if you want to ask them now, she's here and she's very happy to take questions from people. Okay, there's a bit of a delay. There's always a bit of a delay. So
okay.
Did you want to... Well, we maybe just leave it for that. I hope has that been helpful for people. I think she's looking at maybe doing a few more of these. We'll see, depending on the feedback and things like that. If they're helpful, maybe Siobhan, if you want to just say a few things for the people maybe who are struggling in this kind of a situation, what would you like to tell them?
Sometimes people feel very isolated. I know from talking to couples, especially women, they feel very isolated on this journey. There is certainly hope, and I hope I can give hope to the couples out there. 15% statistics, so 15% of all couples have fertility problems. My advice is please don't get caught up on individual figures, individual test results. I've seen many different types of scenarios where people were given no hope and told they need a donor egg and donor sperm, and which of course is an option as well, and it can be a very good option. And but there is much more hope, and I've seen it with myself how the herbs work and the acupuncture work. Sometimes I'm still to this day pleasantly surprised at how effective that it is for helping people conceive and to have a baby. Okay, there's another question here from Ruth, and it says, what is the implications of clots in menstrual blood? What does it signify? Clots in the period is a big problem that I see with fertility. It's generally linked with premenstrual tension, PMT, And the clots, in my mind, if you can imagine, that's the blood nourishing the eggs. So it's the blood in that area. So we want to get brighter red blood. So I believe that the eggs will be a little bit more malnourished with the clots, and I believe it certainly impedes on implantation, and it's linked to miscarriage. If the embryo, whether it's IVF or whether it's natural, goes into an environment where there's clots, sometimes it's hard for that embryo to embed successfully in that endometrium in the uterine wall, to help get the nutrients through to the embryo. I do see it linked with miscarriage, unfortunately.
Okay. Did you
Someone
want to do
is
the
looking for
AMH?
results of AMH results. I have a good few results here. It's one result, date of birth here, and it goes from 2.7. Can you see it
People
there?
can see it.
2.7, and after a few months, I have the same dates of birth. You can see them if you come into me, and then it rises up to 4.5. I think that was after.
We might be
4.
able to put some samples.
Yeah,
up
what I'll do is I'll
afterwards.
try pushing.
Yeah,
some,
we might be able to put some
samples up.
samples up. I can put a handout together.
This is a woman. It was 0.2, and 2 years later, well, she came to me 4 months before this. But it was 2 years later when the test was done, it went up to 3.17 from 0.2. She went on to conceive naturally, and one IVF, and she now has 2 kids. There's a lady here, she was 43. She's actually happy to give her name, Eileen O'Rourke, and she was 43, and her results went from 3.1 up to 8.98, and she was 43, and she was on herbs for 4 months. Then I have FSH, because I know we're running out of time now, but there was an FSH, it was 24, and after taking herbs for approximately 3 months, it went to 10.3. 2 months, actually, 2 months, and then she conceived that month and had a healthy baby. Her testimonials on the website. There's another lady here, FSH was 29. Can you see it there? And then after taking herbs for, again, I think it was 4 months, I went to 14.1. So just to give you an indication of some of the, actually there's another one here. This lady, it was 2.8, and then after taking herbs, again, actually hers was 4 months, it went to 6.5. So just to give an indication of these results, a lot of these women were late 30s or early 40s, and the vast majority all went on to conceive and have a healthy baby. So it's just, not to get too caught up on results, because I've seen it in black and white, these results can dramatically change. So I hope that's given some hope to people out there, especially with AMH and FSH results that they were told were problematic. So if there's any way that I can help you, the best way is to get in touch with the website, and if I can meet you and talk to you why I think the FSH is higher, the AMH is low, or any other problems, I can explain it to you. If I can meet you and talk to you, I'll have a good indication from what I see with your results and your tongue and your pulse diagnosis. I can explain it to you on the first visit, and what we can do to help you achieve more normal results.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Terry, for that.
So I think that is going to finish it for today's session. If you have other questions that maybe come up either after the session or whatever, if you want to post them in the comments, and we'll have a look at them, and we'll see about maybe scheduling another one in the future, or seeing how we might be able to answer those questions for you. But if you have specific questions, it's probably best if you make an appointment to come in and see Siobhan, because obviously, she would have to know more specific details about your particular case. There's also information available on the website. So if there's, if you have questions, anyways, do get in touch, and do hope this has been helpful. Thank you to Siobhan for coming here.
Thank you very much, Terry.
And thank you for people for coming today as well. So for now, we'll let you go, and do get in touch if you have any further questions. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.